In the ever-evolving landscape of Hollywood, where egos clash as frequently as scripts are rewritten, few moments capture the raw tension of the industry quite like a public critique from one powerhouse to another. Quentin Tarantino, the enigmatic director renowned for his razor-sharp dialogue and unfiltered opinions, recently stirred the pot once again by unveiling his personal canon of the finest films from the 21st century. Amid this cinematic roll call of excellence, Tarantino didn't hold back on his disdain for certain performances, zeroing in on actors whose work he deemed unworthy of the silver screen's glow. Among those singled out was Matthew Lillard, the lanky, scene-stealing presence forever etched in horror enthusiasts' minds as Stu Macher in the iconic slasher flick Scream. Lillard, undeterred and disarmingly candid, fired back during a lively panel at GalaxyCon Columbus, accusing Tarantino of selective bravery, willing to lambast mid-tier talents but shrinking from confronting the untouchable A-listers like Tom Cruise. Lillard's retort wasn't born from bitterness alone. It was a poignant dissection of the double standards that permeate Tinseltown. You wouldn't say that to Tom Cruise. You wouldn't say that to somebody who's a top-line actor in Hollywood, Lillard declared, his voice carrying the weight of someone who's navigated the precarious waters of fame for decades. There's a palpable truth in his words, one that echoes through the corridors of power in Los Angeles. Tarantino, for all his bravado and penchant for profanity-laced rants, has built a career on celebrating the underdog while occasionally elevating himself to the pantheon of critics who can make or break reputations. Yet, as Lillard astutely points out, when it comes to the elite echelon, the Cruises, the DiCaprios, the Pitt, the director's tongue seems to soften, his barbs dulled by the invisible barriers of stardom. To fully appreciate the sting of this exchange, one must rewind to Tarantino's original salvo, delivered with his signature theatrical flair on the Bret Easton Ellis podcast. There, amid discussions of modern masterpieces, Tarantino dissected There Will Be Blood, Paul Thomas Anderson's sprawling epic of oil, ambition, and moral decay. The film, a towering achievement in American cinema, boasts Daniel Day-Lewis's Oscar-winning turn as the ruthless prospector Daniel Plainview, a performance so visceral it lingers like the scent of crude. But Tarantino, ever the contrarian, fixated on a perceived Achilles heel. Paul Dano's portrayal of Eli Sunday, the scheming preacher whose rivalry with Plainview forms the narrative's combustible core. There Will Be Blood would stand a good chance at being number one or number two if it didn't have a big giant flaw in it, and the flaw is Paul Dano, Tarantino proclaimed, his tone dripping with disdain. He elaborated mercilessly, labeling Dano's effort as weak sauce, the weak sister, in a story meant to be a gripping two-hander duel. In a hyperbolic flourish, Tarantino mused that Austin Butler, fresh off channeling Elvis, would have infused the role with the fire it desperately needed. Dano, he scoffed, was the weakest actor in SAG, a barb so cutting it could slice through the thickest script revisions. This wasn't Tarantino's first foray into performative criticism. His lists and podcasts often serve as platforms for him to play the oracle, dispensing wisdom laced with venom. Back to Lillard, though, whose own Tarantino slight came in the context of the director's broader 21st century favorites. Lillard's work in Scream, a cultural juggernaut that redefined teen horror, has cemented him as a genre darling, his manic energy as the unhinged killer a highlight that still prompts fan recreations at conventions. Yet Tarantino, in a casual aside, dismissed Lillard's contributions with the kind of offhand cruelty that only a filmmaker of his stature can wield without immediate backlash. Lillard, in response, revealed a layered vulnerability that humanizes the feud. I did not give **T on what Quentin had to say about my acting, he admitted up front, a bravado that masks the deeper wound. But then the honesty cracked through. The point is that it hurts your feelings. It fucking sucks. In that raw admission lies the universal ache of artistic rejection. The way a single voice, amplified by fame, can echo doubts long buried. Delving deeper into Lillard's career trajectory offers context for why this critique landed with such resonance. Emerging in the mid-90s amid a wave of indie grit, Lillard's breakthrough came with Serial Mom, John Waters' campy satire where he played a buttoned-up son unraveling under maternal mayhem. From there, he hopped genres with ease, the stoner charm in Half-Baked, the brooding intensity in Without a Paddle, and later, a pivot to voice work as the mischievous Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo live-actions. Scream remains his crown jewel, though, a film that not only launched a franchise but dissected Hollywood's obsession with itself. Lillard Stu wasn't just a villain. He was a meta-commentary on privilege and performance, his final gut-wrenching demise a masterclass in physical comedy amid horror. To have Tarantino, a director whose films like Pulp Fiction and Inglourious Bastard revel in exaggerated archetypes, Dismiss that nuance feels like a betrayal of the very irreverence Tarantino champions. Contrast this with Tarantino's own history of actor feuds and praises. He's famously championed the overlooked. Think Samuel L. Jackson's volcanic monologues or Uma Thurman's Vengeful Bride. Yet his critiques often target those still climbing. Paul Dano, for instance, has since carved a niche in introspective roles. The alienated dreamer in Little Miss Sunshine, the unraveling artist in Ruby Sparks, and the spectral figure in The Batman. His Eli Sunday, far from weak, embodies a chilling passivity, a foil to Day-Lewis's aggression that underscores the film's themes of false piety and exploitation. Tarantino's dismissal ignores this subtlety, reducing Dano to a punchline in his quest for perfection. Interestingly, Dano has remained stoically silent, a choice that speaks volumes in an era of clapbacks and subtweets. Support has poured in from peers, though. Actors like Adam Driver, who collaborated with Dano in Marriage Story, have lauded his quiet intensity, suggesting Tarantino's hot take missed the mark on a performer whose strength lies in restraint. Lillard's GalaxyCon appearance, buzzing with cosplayers and panel banter, transformed this personal slight into a broader industry indictment. Conventions like these are sanctuaries for fans and fringe stars alike, places where the hierarchy flattens and unscripted truths emerge. Lillard, now 54 and embracing a second act in projects like Five Nights at Freddy's, used the stage to unpack not just the hurt but the hypocrisy. Why, he pondered aloud, does Tarantino reserve his sharpest knives for those without the box office armor of a Cruise? Tom Cruise, after all, embodies the very pinnacle of Hollywood resilience, decades of daredevil stunts and Mission Impossible, a Scientology-fueled work ethic that borders on mythic. Tarantino has praised Cruise effusively in the past, calling him a machine in interviews, yet Lillard's point stands. The director's candor seems calibrated by clout.